Great. Chris with AppLife Digital Solutions. Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to our first weekly podcast, weekly, semi-weekly. The goal here is to engage with our community, everybody that's a stakeholder within the organization, our buyers that buy from us through our websites, our sellers that sell through our marketplace, our investor base. The goal here, obviously, is to build a community of trust and transparency, and that's what my goal is with holding these podcasts, being available, answering questions. I hope you'll ask me some questions today. We're super excited to engage with our investors and with our community, and I hope you appreciate that. Before we go any further, we are publicly traded, and we are on the OTC markets under the ticker AppLife Digital Solutions, which is ALDS. So obviously we've made a huge commitment financially to be publicly traded. So that comes at a tremendous cost for both legal and professional costs, anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000 a year. And we do that to be transparent. And we want you to be aware that you can look at our information, go to OTC markets, check us out. All of our information is there. All of the news that we report, our financials. Do your due diligence. Investing comes with risk. We're not here to say we're not risk-free, but we're excited for the future, and we just want to be transparent, okay? Let me give you a quick overview of today's goals. Give me 1 second to organize myself. So my agenda for today. Quick recap of the presentation we held 2 weeks ago. For those that attended that a couple of weeks ago, we talked about our entire investor deck, the history of the company, the future of the company, and the present, where the organization is today. So I'll quickly touch on that. During that presentation, we went through our investor deck. That investor deck is now available at Sugar Auto Parts under About Us. I'll drop you a quick link here. There you go. So if you want to go and look at that investor deck or read through that investor deck, please note, you can also, all of our contact information is there as well. If you want to schedule a one-on-one meeting, you want to learn more about our organization, want to connect with any of the management, that's what we're here to do. We're here to answer questions and be available. We're trying to build a community that's built on trust and transparency, as I'm trying to drive home today through this presentation. Okay. During that presentation, we did roll out some new technology. We showed our new large language model AI tool for building year, make, model fitment. Arguably, one of the largest challenges to selling an automotive part is that year, make, model fitment field, if you will, that sits on top of an abnormally large catalog size. So we're super excited about that technology. It solves a lot of challenges. In the industry today, you have a lot of people, there's no one standard for year, make, model lookup. And so you have Auto Care Association doing their thing. You have Pi's ACES data. It's kind of consistent for Amazon, Walmart, and then you have eBay doing EPID. So we recognize that was just kind of old school, if you will, and now being part of the AI tools and large language model tools, we're able to solve that and just simply apply through our prompt and just create our own fitment in-house, and no longer being dependent on third parties, and kind of quickly allowing us to build year, make, model fitment for any part we're selling, which is super exciting. I'll try to show that as well here in just a second. So what is AppLife Digital Solutions? What are we about? So first of all, obviously, we're publicly traded. That's the parent company. And again, fully transparent. All of our information is public. Check us out. Second of all, I would describe us as a technology company. We use technology fully to sell automotive parts. And it really consists of three organizations or three verticals within our company. One is our DevOps team. We just dropped a big PR here at the close of business here about 35 minutes ago. That's on OTC markets. You can go to the ALDS ticker, click on news, and you'll see that new announcement with our partnership with Commerce Pundit. Commerce Pundit is an incredible partner. They've helped us for many years on building technology that solves some of the largest challenges that automotive parts sellers face. So anyway, check that story out. We're pretty excited about that. Second of all, we have an e-commerce website called liftkitsforless.com, and that's really the history of the company from a financial standpoint, going back to when the company was first founded back in 2013, roughly $60 million in revenue through Lift Kits for Less. But that's where we kind of learned the industry, how to sell automotive parts at scale, how to onboard tens of thousands of parts, how to integrate with all of the technology partners, the SEMAs, the ASAPs, PDMs, so on and so forth. And so that's really where it was the incubator of what are the main tools that we're now using and applying to the company today, and really the future with our marketplace, which is the third aspect of our company: DevOps, Lift Kits for Less, and now Sugar Auto Parts. And Sugar Auto Parts is a true double-sided marketplace. So you have supply side, which are sellers, demand side, which is buyers, and it is the entire automotive parts world. So new, used, electric combustion, car, truck, SUV, power sports, marine, heavy duty equipment, so on and so forth. So massive lift from a technology standpoint. And I'll jump into that a little bit further down the road. So real quick, well, actually, we'll talk about that later. Sorry. So I want to talk about the future, and the future is the marketplace, because that's the big opportunity. Look, our e-commerce website, Lift Kits for Less, generates a lot of revenue. It's a great little business, but the addressable market cap size, the truck and off-road community, is roughly $50 billion. And that's it's a nice market. But when you look at the automotive parts as a whole, it's $1 trillion global opportunity. And obviously, if you could go after that opportunity, that becomes exciting. And I think it's exciting for any investor interested in investing something. It was, what's the addressable, size of the market? And I think you have to ask yourself, what's interesting is, why has there never been a true parts only marketplace? Why did the whole industry essentially fall to eBay and Amazon or a Walmart from a marketplace standpoint? If you have an addressable market of $1 trillion globally, massive opportunity, why hasn't there been a disruptor? Why hasn't there been one company to step in and take over that opportunity? It seems like a no-brainer if you could execute that. Well, the truth is, there's two major challenges to developing a parts only marketplace. One is the catalog size, millions and millions and millions of SKUs. eBay, 120 million SKUs. I think Car ID has 18 million SKUs. That's in the investor deck, but you have this massive catalog size. So if you're going to be a multi-seller, where every seller needs to be able to update those products throughout the day, quantities, pricing, product data, you have to build your starting point is just massive. Like, if you're going to build a true double-sided marketplace, it's going to be scalable, right? Not just build a minimal viable product, an MVP, but something really scalable, massive. Your starting point, your launching point is insanely large. And I often equate it to building a 1,000-lane freeway in a town of 10 people. You've got to build this massive infrastructure. The second, and arguably the bigger challenge, is how do you address your make model fitment in a marketplace setting? eBay, right? They just came up with their own solution. They created what was called an ePID. They have a master vehicle fitment file, and they try to help sellers use that. It's very tedious. It's very slow. It's very methodical. It's difficult to update it. You have to go back constantly. It's not something that can be automated. They're not using any AI tools to help their sellers. Amazon uses PIs and ACEs. PIs is your descriptions. ACEs is fitment. And that's daunting. That's a huge challenge. And then you have Auto Care Association, which is trying to help as much as they can. Look, I'm not here to beat everybody up. It's just a massive challenge. So if you can address those two challenges, if you can manage millions and millions of parts, and you're able to update those parts with API calls and allow those sellers to update multi-seller format, and you can address your make model fitment, well, then you have something special. And what I'm here to tell you today is Sugar Auto Parts has solved those two challenges. We're able to manage millions of parts on our platform. Our catalog size today is 6 million parts. And I know maybe that might not correlate, but to give you an idea, Chewy.com, that sells pet supplies, has roughly 100,000 products. 100,000 products and 10 billion in revenue. I don't know what the revenue is. I know it's large. So we have 6 million parts in our catalog. It's staggering to try to understand what it takes to build a parts only marketplace. Anyway, and then 2, year make model fitment. We demonstrated our AI tool last week, how we're able to build fitment using large language models. So it really solved that challenge for us. And we're able to take those tools and apply them to any e-commerce seller out there. Anybody needs help, you can DM us. We make these tools available to sellers. And we're happy to hold a call with our DevOps team. Again, go to Sugar Auto Parts, go to the About Us, and you can get a hold of any of the management team through that link. Okay. I want to talk about really where we're at with Sugar Auto Parts today. I'll go ahead and share my screen here and show you some of the this week's achievements, if you will. Let me jump in here, share my screen. Please, if there's any questions, I'd love to have some questions. Tough questions, tough love, whatever you want to throw at us. We're open. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in. And I apologize because if there's questions on LinkedIn or questions on Twitter, I don't see those, unfortunately. And I don't know if Barrett or someone wants to copy paste questions into the comments section on StreamYard, that would be great. Or if or even text me, I don't care, whatever's easy. Let me share my screen and show you some of the technology breakthroughs that we've had this week. I'm pretty excited. Okay, so this is Sugar Auto Parts. This is a marketplace connecting the largest sellers in the automotive parts space. So enterprise sellers. It's really not designed like an eBay model where you're just selling a one-off product. This is really engaging with large organizations that rely heavily on technology. We're trying to create a very trust environment for our buyers. We're very much built off an Amazon model. So what is called a catalog model, where you win the buy box. And clearly Amazon has demonstrated that model is highly successful. The more sellers who join and they compete to drive value to a buyer by winning that buy box. And so how do you win the buy box? What does that mean? So let's just look up any part on our website. Let's go to AMP Research. And so here's a AMP Research step. Obviously AMP has a great reputation, the brand. And this particular seller on our platform is American Wholesale. They won the buy box. So essentially, our buy box is driven off of in stock and ready to ship same day. And then we kind of drill down from them. What is your return policy? Do you offer free returns? What is your shipping fee? Is it free shipping? We do reward low price, but we don't want that to be, that's probably the 5th in our algorithm for winning the buy box. Obviously, everybody knows in the automotive parts world, a significant portion of our products are MAP compliant, meaning the manufacturers don't allow for they require a minimum advertised price. So we're sensitive to that. We don't want to piss off manufacturers. Frankly, we're here to support the industry. I think Amazon made a big mistake when they first rolled out. They're basically, they're like, do your own thing. We're going to sell it for what we want. We don't want to do that. We're very MAP enforcement driven here as well. But anyway, so price is not the number one. It's in stock, ready to ship. Please notice, if you will, when you're selling an automotive part, you need to answer a lot of questions for the consumer. What does this fit? And I think this is why I was so motivated to build and design a parts only marketplace, because there was so many frustrations on Amazon and eBay. First of all, eBay title is limited to 80 characters. And that's extremely difficult to tell a story about a product and then try to put in year, make, model in the title. It's way too small. So we allow up to 165 characters. We know that the sweet zone is anywhere between 120 to 140 characters. Just interesting that, here's a marketplace, arguably eBay being the largest marketplace. And it's just, they never built that to sell an automotive part, right? Whether you're selling lipstick or selling a carburetor, everybody kind of follows that same box. And that box is way too limiting for automotive parts. So we're solving challenges that sellers face by having robust titles, robust descriptions, important notes, and really getting all of that critical information to the consumer so they can make an informed purchase. And the goal here is to reduce returns. Obviously, Amazon shoves returns down sellers' throats. It's very punitive. So, and there's no recourse. You just instant refund, and we don't think that's reasonable. So, on our platform, sellers have a chance to resolve issues with the buyer before the return is made. Maybe there's a scratch, maybe there's a dent. Can they give them a discount? What can they do to resolve it? So we're trying to be middle ground with our marketplace when it comes to compliance and enforcement for sellers and buyers. So anyway, this is standard a listing on our platform. One of the big developments that we've been working on is our year, make, model lookup. And so I'm really happy now that we have a full garage. I hope everybody's excited about this as we are. So once you enter in a vehicle, it'll hold that information. And when you click on that vehicle, anything that fits that vehicle will instantly pop up. As you can see, our technology is very forward thinking. This is all API driven conversation on the back end. So it's extremely fast. And so loading is fast. You can see robust title shows in stock. This is real time. And then once you go into it, you can see who wins the buy box, so on and so forth. Images are beautiful, fast, gorgeous. This is really a clean technology build. Again, our DevOps team has done an incredible job. Escape out of here, go back. Give me 1 second. Okay. So this is really cool. So now once, whether you're a wholesale buyer and you're, looking for parts, you can quickly jump between vehicles. Now keep in mind, everybody, we only have 3 sellers right now, just 3 sellers on this marketplace and that are in beta. So you can imagine where now we already have, some results here for this vehicle for the, let's see, Ford Escape. Yep. Here's the Ford Escape. So think when we have 10 sellers and then we have 20 sellers and 50 sellers and 100 sellers and 1,000 sellers, right? This is a multi-seller marketplace. Our catalog is going to balloon and buyers are going to have a much better buying experience built around one concept and only one concept, and that's selling an automotive part. That's what Sugar Auto Parts is. That's what it's built to do. It's built to sell a part. It's built to reduce friction. It's for buyers. It's built to make it a better selling experience for sellers based off of my frustration of selling on eBay and Amazon. I know anybody that's sold through those marketplaces, there's very frustrating aspects. There's great aspects, but anyway, so that's super exciting. Again, you can see we're still early, but they're still getting in here. Like a bumper, it's fast bumper, and looking this up for the FJ. So again, this is going to grow and grow and grow and get better and better, better. We're going to work on left side navigation, improve that. But anyway, that's exciting. Also for our B2B customers, again, when you come here, if you want to be a buyer, this is basically a retail customer, and then we have a wholesale buyer. So if you're an install center and you want to buy wholesale, this is zero cost to you. We have significant large wholesalers on our platform. We're onboarding those sellers. They're looking to sell directly to install centers. You can save a significant amount of money and access some of the largest brands in the world, from Fox, obviously Amp Research, you name a brand, banks, any number of manufacturers that are on our platform. So if you have friends and family that have an install center, please encourage them to sign up so they can start buying wholesale. Once you're logged in as a wholesale buyer, I'll go ahead and show you what this looks like. You see strike through pricing. So let's see what we have here for the FJ Cruiser. Let's go. Actually, we'll just go to the Ford Super Duty. So you can see that if you're a wholesaler, you can see the normal price on these Falcon shocks is $926, and they're on sale for 25% off. It's a huge savings. You're an install center, you can come to Sugar Auto Parts and buy all your parts wholesale. And most of the stuff, depending on where it's coming from, ships out same day. So that's where you see the rush here. So anyway, pretty exciting for wholesalers as we grow, not only B2C, but B2B, which we know is a huge underserved community in America. And this is an environment where it costs an install center absolutely nothing to become a wholesale buyer. So really cool. Look, it's $1 trillion market, 660 billion US, roughly 200 billion being purchased online. And I think Sugar Auto Parts, look, I wouldn't have dedicated my life the last 5 years selling my home. Everybody knows my story, liquidating everything I have to keep this company going if I didn't believe in this opportunity. And I hope that you'll take a look at ALDS. You'll look at becoming a shareholder, an investor in what we're building. This is an amazing, amazing platform here, and I hope you get excited about this. What else? There's so much going on. Oh, so let me show you this, another cool tool we've worked on. So we're continuing to heavily, let me clear out of here. Let's go shop without vehicle, Fab Force. So this is all things and Fab Force search. Let's see. Give me one sec. Okay. So this is really cool technology. We're really leaning into, oh, you know what? Let me log out. Okay, good. Sorry. So Pies Aces data, in my opinion, is kind of like an encyclopedia. You remember encyclopedias for us old guys? You'd go and you'd pick out, go grab the J's and you'd look up J information and what the encyclopedia tells. And then Google came around, right? No one uses encyclopedia anymore. The encyclopedia went out of, and I think for those guys that are involved in this industry and you look at Pies Aces data, I think pretty soon that they're going to laugh and go, you actually use Pies Aces. So this is really interesting. And I showed you last week how we built a large language model implementation built back into the back end of Sugar Auto Parts that literally creates your make, model, fitment for any part that we're trying to find and update. Now we've implemented AI product updates. So what you're actually looking at here is not Pies data. We had no data on Fab Fours. So we created a AI fitment, not AI product data update. So this title is actually generated by a large language model. This description is generated by a large language model. The product features are large language model. And then most importantly is the important notes. And this is where I think what we're really trying to do when someone is checking out, before you can check out, we're trying to eliminate returns. You got to read, you can't add to cart. You got to read these important notes. So this is actually generated by AI. And I think it's incredible that there's so much data that we can eliminate bad purchases, wrong purchases, buying the wrong thing now. So really cool that what technology is. This is fully done, fully implemented, and we're able to clean up data as we go. So that's exciting. Oh yeah. So if you do go to OTC Markets and you want to get all of the company information, please do so. We're building a community here. So today's big news, obviously we dropped, was our big partnership with Commerce Pundit. You can read this story. We hope you'll share this information. We'll hope you'll start telling the story about Sugar Auto Parts and how we're disrupting this huge industry. And it's something I've been passionate about. And I always just was like, I love this community, right? I really think that anybody that's in the auto parts industry are amazing people. And many, I feel like they're friends and family. And I just was like, there's got to be a better way to sell parts and buy parts. And so I hope you'll come along on this journey. I know myself, on behalf of Michael Hill, the CEO, and Barrett Evans, the chief financial or CFO for the company, we're available. We're excited. I hope people are going to get excited as I am. And I always laugh, like, how can you get excited about auto parts? But look, this isn't really auto parts, right? This is a marketplace. This is a disruptor. And we have a huge opportunity in front of us to go after a huge market and unite our community and become the face of the entire automotive parts industry. And I truly believe that, or I would have gave up on this a long time ago. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I think we're the most disruptive technology since Airbnb. And I hope you'll do your due diligence. I hope you'll look at what we're building. I'm going to be here every week answering questions, talking about what we accomplished this week, talk about the challenges we're facing. Like I said, we've been in beta now for quite a while, going through and with the 3 sellers that we have addressing issues as they come up. We're now about to start onboarding sellers, We will be picking a handful of sellers. If you're interested in being part of our beta, want to be a first adopter, you can go ahead and hit the sign up to become a seller button. You can also message to have a meeting with me. We're looking for really high quality sellers to join our platform. So that's exciting news. We're super close to really exploding this catalog. With that said, I'm curious if there's any questions. Let me stop sharing my screen. So if there's any questions, and I apologize, I don't know if Long Bully Stick, if you have time to drop any questions into the comment section here, it'd be awesome if we could answer any questions. I hope people are getting excited. I always laugh, how can you get excited about auto parts? But I think it's an amazing industry, and I think the people are amazing. So, and I'm a car guy. I think next week we'll have one of our NASCAR drivers come in here. We sponsor drivers in the past. Obviously, we were with Sheldon Creed when he won the Darlington race with our Lift Kits for Less truck. That was an awesome experience. Anyway, that's really my update this week. I don't have a lot more to talk about other than, we're executing and we're building this. And I hope people will take a hard look at becoming part of the community. And we're looking for investors, frankly. We can't do this by ourselves. Money doesn't grow on trees. And although we're making sales, and that's great, let me be transparent. So right now, today, we are looking to grow revenue. That's the cool thing about this business model, is that we're leveraging the assets of huge sellers. They're the manufacturers, right? We don't hold inventory. We don't need to build warehouses. We don't need to go spend millions of dollars on inventory. Maybe in the future, be more like an Amazon model where we hold inventory, but that's not today. Today is just a really clean, low CapEx business model. So every dollar we're raising, the majority of that is going to go into ad spend and acquiring a customer. So that's where we're at. We're revenue. And I think that's an exciting entry point for an investor, being part of a company that's really revenue focused, growth focused. That's what we're going after today. So anyway, I apologize. I just don't see any questions. I wish there was a better way to engage with people. I see there's a Jimmy Jams in the waiting room. I don't know who Jimmy is. I don't know if Jimmy wants to ask a question. If we want to come on and say hello, but we're open to hearing from our community. So anybody else out there? If not, let me just read my closing statement here, and then I'll drop off. This will be available on, obviously we're posting this on LinkedIn. It's posted on Twitter. It's posted on YouTube. I'm available. Barrett's available. Michael's available. Let me just talk. I have an incredible team around me. These guys are phenomenal. They've been in the investment community for years, been part of huge organizations. Check those guys out. They're awesome. And I couldn't be more feel safe, for lack of a better description, having those guys by my side. So awesome team to have on board. So any questions at all? Anything at all, guys? Okay. Well, let me just say this. So obviously here at AppLife Digital, we're building a company, and it starts with an investment base. And an investment base is built on obviously two things. It's built on trust and transparency. And that's exactly why I'm showing up and I'm doing this, right? We're trying to be here. We're trying to be present, trying to answer questions, hold us accountable. We're here for you. We're fine. We want to earn your confidence and to demonstrate execution. And we'll let the results speak for themselves, right? You can see every day more products, a better shopping experience, more sellers soon. It's a super exciting time to be part of this community. Please review our filings, understand the business, and follow our progress. We believe that over time, trust compounds just like great businesses do. And I appreciate you being here with us today. We'll continue showing up, continue building, continue to execute. On behalf of AppLife Digital Solutions, I'm Christopher Davenport. Thank you. And we will see you at the next update. Have a great day.